labhyah nacha pramadat tapaso vapi linga etairupaye yatate yastu vidwan tasyesha vishate brahmadhama. So again, various sadhanas are talked about, and just because of the fact that we do this sadhana, that doesn't guarantee that we are going to realize. Realization of the self is a culmination of so many factors. First and foremost, there has to be a desire to liberate. Once there is that desire to liberate, that desire is not enough. The desire has to be backed up with sattva shuddhi. Sattva shuddhi is the antakarana shuddhi, the purity of the inner equipment. The purity of the inner equipment doesn't happen by itself. It is a slow process of observation and learning. What we learn, when we observe it in the proper light of learning and understanding, we improve our vision. And the improvement of the vision is completely psychological. It is not that the outside world changes. It is the psychological disposition of the mind has now changed. The mind has re-educated itself, and the mind starts changing, and the change of the mind is referred to as the viveka and vairagya. Then comes the sense control, the mind control. The mind learns to abide in its own locus, uparati, and then titiksha, shraddha, samadhan. Those are the last four ones, slowly where the inner equipment can meditate. So the desire coupled by the purity of the inner equipment, the purity of the inner equipment brings about an overall integration of the personality, and the integrated personality has to yearn for grace. Without grace, this realization of the self is not bestowed upon. It is absolutely grace which takes us at the very last steps of realization, the grace of the Shastra, the grace of the teacher, and the grace of Bhagavan. Then the three grace comes together, and the last one is the grace of Prakriti. She wills that this jiva be liberated. Without the grace of Prakriti, it is impossible to come out. So that person, when they go through all this, the exhaustion of the jiva should never be reached. The jiva should never feel, oh my God, it is never going to happen. That is referred to over here as balahinena labhyaha. This bala is the inner strength which keeps the jiva going. It is the strength of the sadhana, the strength of the absolute faith that I am going to reach, that Bhagavan is going to bless, that all blessings are going to converge, and I am going to reach over there. So, Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. Over here, Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya says, Atma Nishtha Janita Shaktihi. The Shakti born out of this, not the abidance in the self, but the firm belief that I am going to reach, the firm belief that I am going to stay firm on my sadhana. Doesn't matter how long I have to do this sadhana. That bala, the inner voice speaks very clearly. So if that bala is not there, if that atmanishtha is not there, the person will not realize. Nacha pramadat, and the erroneousness, array, I tried it so many times, it is just not meant to be, and we prematurely give up. So that pramad, erroneousness, we cut corners, we want shortcuts. So many people, they want shortcuts for realization. And people also, there are nice gurus they also find which says you don't need to study scriptures, you can just do these 1 or 2 kriyas and do it. If kriya was it, then Bhagavan Krishna should have stopped Bhagavad Gita at 3rd chapter. But kriya doesn't do anything. All kriya does is, at the most, it brings some antakarana shuddhi. Gnyan, it can never bring. That knowledge has to be acquired. So, nacha pramadat, prematurely we give up. Bhagavan over here, Shruti Devi says, no, that is also na tapasaha. There are people who engage in tapas. Janama janama muni jatana karai antakal raghuvara avatanahi. Even in Ramcharitmanas, it says, for not just one life, janama janama, for lives at a time, these munis, they do tapas, but still Lord Rama has not yet arrived. So this tapas, even Shivanandji, Diksha Guru of Swami Chinmayanandji, he used to do so much tapas in Gangaji, cold water, cold shower, this, that, not wearing clothes. He said, you will get pneumonia, you will get cold, you will get varicose veins, stand in Gangaji knee-deep water. All sorts of things will happen. He says, tapas should be intelligent tapas. So even a great, he was a hatha yogi, he was a dhyani, he was a jnani, medical doctor, everything he has tried. And he said, follow what the Shastra says. Bas. You use your own idea of tapas, it is not going to help out. So, nacha pramadat tapasa va api lingat. Va api lingat, we discussed this by taking sannyas. Sannyas also, it's not a guarantee. Sannyas does not mean anything. The ochre robe only blesses when with ochre robe we accept the responsibilities of nothing but swadhyaya pravachanabhyam. Bas. Study pravachan, and that's sannyas. Sarvakarma sannyas is taken for the sake of jnana, knowledge. So sannyas without knowledge means nothing. So that is why over here it is said, na ayam atma balahinena labhyaha. The atma bal, if it is not there, atma is not labhyaha, cannot be attained. The atma cannot be attained by pramad, by erroneousness, giving up. So many things can be added. Tapasaha, by great tapas, I will leave home, I will go to forest, I will do chandrayanam vratam, I will not eat for these many days, what not, 41 days, do this, do that. All tapas should be intelligent. Yasya jnanamaya tapaha, that is said in Upanishad. The tapas of Brahmaji when he started creation was that knowledge, because when knowledge arrived, then he understood what to do. So yasya jnanamaya tapas, the tapascharya should be in such a way that we acquire proper knowledge, proper sadhana, And the tapas should be, we should stay put on sadhana. That is the greatest tapas. The worst days also, we should not give up sadhana. Etaihi upayaihi yatate yastu vidvan. A wise one takes all these, puts it into practice properly. Tasya esha atma vishate brahmadham. And when tapascharya is done properly, when those people, a wise man, strives with great type of inner strength is there, vigor, there is no erroneousness, attention is there, and properly when they do their sadhana, vishate, they enter. They enter, this mind becomes one with the higher, and in this way they attain Brahman. Again, attainment is not gaining, it is already gained. It is just that they have clear understanding, this is who I am. Even before I was that, but I just didn't know. The veil of ignorance prevented them from knowing. Mantra number 5, we continue. Samprapyena mrushayo jnanatruptaha. Krutatmano vitaragav prashantaha. Te sarvagam sarvataf prapya dhiraha. Yuktatmanas sarvameva vishanti. This is also very nice, beautiful mantra. Again, see, we are towards the end of Mundaka Upanishad. Shankaracharya ji's commentary is very brief because he's explained all these things before, and now it is only for nididhyasan. These are mantras for deep contemplation. So, samprapya enam rushayah jnanatruptaha. Ena, over here, this enam, the self. This self, it is referred to this, even though it is not like an object, this. It is referred, this self. Enam rushayah, rushati janati iti rushayah. A definition is the one who with great amount of effort comes to know the self and comes to know everything about the self. Why? Because they become the self. That Rishi, Rishati janati iti Rishi, the one who with great effort has, the jiva has risen to the state of complete abidance in the higher nature, and the lower one is removed. So these sages, these great sages, these great men of effort, Rushayah Jnanatruptaha, they are completely satisfied with the realization of the self. Trupta, complete fulfillment. Trupti is that fulfillment within, because of which the outside searching stops. So the outside searching has stopped out of this knowledge, Jnana Truptaha. So over here, Akhandananji Maharaj uses these words to explain trupti. So one is, he says, one is rati, second is trupti, and third is santushti. So rati is the enjoyment of the objects, and he says the greatest rati in this world is the man longing to be with a woman, the enjoyment of the matter, the flesh enjoyment at the outside level, that is rati. That's why Kamdev's wife's name is also Rati, because external. So that is rati. Then comes trupti. From outside, a layer has come closer. And what is trupti? एक अच्छा तिरुपति लड्डू मिल गया, you know, nice Tirupati sweet has arrived from there, and eat it, and that taste is immediately the eyes closes and one enjoys. So the object which is outside becomes one. So Brahmana Bhojana Priya, the one who eats, and out of eating over here is consumption. So in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna talks about different yajnas. The yajna of seeing, the yajna of hearing, the yajna of speaking, the yajna of chanting, the yajna, 24 different things Bhagavan Krishna talks about. So when we consume from different senses and the sense object becomes one with us, that is the joy born out of that is called trupti. Santushti is a internal joy, the higher joy born out of understanding and knowledge. It is not a product of an external situation, nor is it a product of objective consumption, but it is a joy born out of subjective knowledge, subjective understanding, and that is over here known as Jnana Truptaha. Even though Trupta is used, it is qualified by Jnana, so you can add Santushti, not just Tushti. This is born out of pure understanding that Aham Brahmaha, I am Brahman. And what kind of Brahman? I am Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam Brahma. I am this infinite blissful self. That joy they don't experience, they know. That is why it is said Rushaya Jnana Truptaha. It is in the purview of understanding and knowing. They have as though tasted the joy of Brahman, and that taste which lingers in the equipment, anything that they see, it is licked as though by the taste of Brahman. So the object that they see, the object that they consume, the object that they experience, the object that they come in contact with, the object doesn't bring any joy, but their knowledge with which they consume licks, as though when they are consuming, they are licking through the object the joy of Brahman, which is delivered by the knowledge and not the object. That is the life of an enlightened soul. In knowledge, the whole universe basks in the taste of Brahman. Krutatmanaha, and who Krutatmanaha, self-fulfilled, completely fulfilled in the knowing of the higher self, even a giant snowball of vasana cannot touch this person. Not one vasana can add even a drop of joy to this person. The knowledge of the self itself is infinite. Anantam, anandam, they enjoy. Then what is this one desire? It will not. So krutatmanaha, all that needs to be done is done by them. All which is done by all jivas of all time, the fulfillment attained by all jivas by doing all this, even Brahmaji, the one who presides over one Brahmand. But like that there are Ananta Kodi Brahmajis, and the joy of all Brahmajis of all Brahmands, this person enjoys. So because of that, the person has absolutely no desire left. All desires of all Brahman, they come to enjoy at the same time, and at the same time they are so fulfilled that one cannot add anything. So krutatmanaha, completely fulfilled, there is no desire left for anything. Vitaragaha, and necessarily such a person has no desires, no attachment. Raga, attachment, longing, none of that is there. They are completely fulfilled. Vitaragaha. What does raga do? Raga changes the personality from moment to moment. That's why Chandra Bhagavan, every moment he is different. The degrees change, increase, and the degrees decrease. So Shukla Paksh, he increases, and Krishna Paksh, he decreases. So the moon is a symbol of mind which is enjoying, and the moon getting bigger is raga, and the moon getting smaller is the dvesha. Bas. So the whole cycle of Chandra is the cycle of raga and dvesha over here. Who's the presiding deity of mind? Chandrama manasa devataha. Even in Purush Suktam it is said, Chandrama manaso jataha, chaksho suryo ajayata. So over there also, so the universal total mind, moon, from there the individual mind has come. So vitaragaha, absolutely no desire. Prashantaha, not just shanta, prashantaha, completely quiet. And I had explained the silence at two levels. Silence at the level of mind, surface, and silence at the level of intellect. The silence at the level of intellect is deep. It is the subtle silence, is a deep silence, pervasive silence, and that is subconscious. Silence at the level of the mind is that vitaragaha, and prashanta, deep. So intellect abides in absolute all-pervasive nature of the self is prashantaha, and vitaragaha, mind, is not disturbed at all. No desires can agitate the mind at the surface level, and that same mind, when it goes deeper, it becomes the intellect. That's all. Mind is grosser, more to the surface. Intellect is deeper. So deep-rooted silence and surface silence. So this person is completely calm, tranquil personality. Te sarvagam sarvataha prapya dhiraha. These people are dhiraha, dhimantaha, di buddhi, and dhyam, di, buddhi, delights, rati, rag also is born out of it, likes, but the buddhi delights in the self. That's called dhiraha. That di is completely, buddhi is ripe, and it is ripe with what? It is ripe with the presence of the self, dhiraha. The buddhi shines in this Atma Tattvam. And what is this dhira? These people who realize sarvagam, they become everything. Why? Because whatever they consume, whatever they know, like I said, it is licked by the taste of Brahman. Everything is, every moment their knowledge is I am Brahman. And if that is Brahman, what kind of Brahman? Like I said, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam Brahma. So that Anantam is Sarvagam, all pervading. Everything, it is Sarvagam. Sarvataha, both ways it is used. One is Sarvagam, all pervading. The other one is Sarvataha. So when it is said Sarvagam, that is the spatial limitation is conquered. When it is said Sarvataha, temporal limitation is conquered. So time and space are both included. See, our rishis were way ahead. So by saying Sarvagam, beyond space, by saying Sarvataha, beyond time. So spatial limitations and temporal limitations born out of the three periods of time, past, present, future. Everything vanishes, disappears. Such a person, prapya, again they gain. Please don't think it is not like gaining this cup of water. Brahman is not like that. Gain of the self is knowledge of the self. They've known, they are there. Yuktatmanaha. Yukta Atmanaha, the equipment, over here Atmanaha is not this Atmanaha, over here Atmanaha is this Antakarana. Yukta, it is integrated. The equipment is integrated, and when the equipment is integrated, all perceptions are precise. So everything, all experiences become calibrated, all experiences become perfect, and that is called Yuktatmanaha. That's why people used to go to Gurudev, question is asked. As the question is asked, boom, answer is given. Yuktatmanaha. And that answer cannot be but right. That's it. It is perfect. The whole universe has to conform to the words of that master. Why? Because none other than Brahman spoke. So Yuktatmanaha. Sarvameva Vishanti. Sarvam eva avishanti. They enter everything, they become all, and they are all knowers. The all knower, and this is what is, this person is tasya karyam na vidyate. Bhagavan Krishna says that no action remains for such a person. In this way, they are completely fulfilled. This again, this is for contemplation. When we sit quietly in meditation, and sometimes when the mind is agitated and we cannot dwell on the silence, these are the mantras to be recalled. And mentally move through the meaning of these mantras, and that itself will silence the mind. This is the art in contemplation. Gurudev has written a book called Art of Contemplation. So every day the mind is not going to behave. There are days when the mind will be very quiet. When it is very quiet, such mantras need not be chanted, just dwell in that silence. But the days when the mind cannot dwell in that deep silence, what do? All these mantras we recall and then walk through the meaning, and the meaning itself will silence the mind and remove the rajas out of that mind, so that the mind can become quiet and it can meditate. Another very famous mantra, mantra number 6. Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha.
Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha.
Sannyasa Yogat Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha.
Sannyasa Yogat Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha.
Te Brahmalokeshu Parantakale.
Te Brahmalokeshu Parantakale.
Paramrutaf Parimuchyanti Sarve.
Paramrutaf Parimuchyanti Sarve.
So the last mantra that we just saw, that mantra is the description of Jivan Mukta. While living, they are Mukta. Now this mantra number 6 is a mantra which describes a Vividisha sannyasi. The last mantra was Vidvat sannyasi. Vidvat sannyasi, another name is Jivan Mukta, the person who's already Mukta, liberated. But this one is a sannyasi who has studied, who has acquired complete clarity and understanding, but that abidance in the self has yet not arrived. So the sannyasi is given adesh and upadesh, that you have to do something. You have to continuously engage in something. And thus, this is a mantra which is chanted in this Vedic Aarti that we do on Sundays. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena. It is part of that. The second mantra, Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha Sannyasa Yogat Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha. So it is a reminder. Gurudev used to make this Vedic Aarti, make people chant, reminder for the sannyasi of the goal, and reminder for the person who welcomes the sannyasi that this is where I should be heading towards. All activities in my life should be for this. So both are reminded. The sannyasi is reminded why he took sannyas, and the householder is reminded that he is worshipping sannyasi because not he is wearing orange clothes. He is being worshipped because he has taken time in his busy life to study, and that is what this is. And I should be doing what he did. And if situations in home do not allow me to do it, it should be in the back burner that one day I have to terminate all my responsibilities. When the nest becomes empty, kids go and all those things, and the two of us are left, this should be the goal. We should not get distracted by other distractions in the society. Living in the society, there will always be distractions. But it is a reminder about the priorities. So what is said over here? Sannyasa yogat yatayaha shuddha sattvaha. Yatayaha, yati is a name of sannyasi, a title. What does yati mean? Yatnam kurvati iti yati, the one who puts effort in life. There is a sannyasi is called yati. There is a book called Yati Dharma Darshini, the whole code of conduct for a sannyasi. Like, Manu Smriti, Manu Bhagavan has written book for all Varnashrama Dharma and everything. In the same way, there is a book written Yati Dharma Darshini, Shandilya Smriti and so many other places. What is a Yati Dharma? Deep. Even Shankaracharya ji has written, it's a thick book. And the Sandhya Vandanam of Yati we see, oh ho 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 ho. By the time he's done with Sandhya Vandanam, the sun is already setting in the west. Has no time for anything. Morning to evening Sandhya, time gone. So this Yatayaha, the one who has put forth effort, that renunciate monk. And what is the Yati? Yati's Yatnam? The Yatnam is Shuddha Sattvaha. He has exclusively cleaned the Antakarana. Shuddha Sattva is a technical term for purity of the inner equipment. Sattva Shuddhi, Antakarana Shuddhi, Manas Shuddhi, and there is Buddhi having knowledge. So this Antakarana Shuddhi is called Shuddha Sattvaha. How did they attain it? Sannyasa Yoga, by the yoga of renunciation. Kavi is not mentioned over here. Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation. So the sannyasi, if they do not renounce, he is not a sannyasi. The mind should be free of all responsibilities and ownership should be given up. Sannyasa yogat yatayaha shuddha sattva. How did they get it? That is, first line is how they acquired it. Vedanta vijnana sunishchitarthaha. The knowledge born out of the Upanishads, Vedanta, Vedasya Anta. Now two meanings can be derived. The end of Veda. The end of Veda, literally the Upanishads. One meaning, Vedanta, the end of the four Vedas, and what exists at the end of the four Vedas is Upanishad. Then the second meaning is Vedanam Antim Tatparya iti Vedanta. The last declaration of the Vedas, and the last and the final declaration of the Vedas is the four great aphorisms. Aham Brahmasmi, Ayamatma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, Tattvamasi. So the highest upadesh of Veda is Jiva Brahma Aikya, that you are that. That Vedanta Vijnana, that Vijnana, the highest four aphorisms, Sunishchita Arthaha. Two upasargas are used, two prefixes. Su, very well. Ni, Nishchay Purvak. And the word also is Nishchay, Nishchita. With very well, with firm assertion, they have come to understand the final declaration of Vedas, the final declaration in the Upanishad, that they have studied with their teacher and they have proper understanding. So the first line says the Buddhi is Prajvalita Buddhi. The Buddhi has understood the absolute goal shown by the Shruti, that is Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. And how are they assimilating it? sannyasa yoga. If they don't renounce, if the mind doesn't renounce and holds on to everything, this knowledge becomes worthless. So Vedanta Vijnan Yatayaha, they have to put forth great effort to renounce everything and attachment and all those things. Shuddha Sattvaha, and the mind and the intellect has to be kept pure so that the dirt of the outside world doesn't contaminate. What should not be seen is not seen, what should not be heard is not heard. Thus the even Shanti mantra starts out with Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Devaha. Oh Bhagavan, protect me, let the hearing be proper, let the seeing be proper, let the strength of the body be proper. Why? Shuddha Sattva is what I need to keep all the time. And this person who has not yet realized but has done the prakriya of the study of Vedanta, what happens to such a person? Te Brahma Lokeshu Paranta Kale, Para Anta Kale. So over here, see, this is what tells us that it is not Jivan Mukti, but it is Krama Mukti over here. So last mantra, Jivan Mukti, this mantra, Krama Mukti. What is Krama Mukti? Mukti in stages. What is the stage? The first stage in the Bhuloka, they purified themselves, acquired knowledge from the teacher. But somewhere, somehow they were stuck, and the grace of the Prakriti did not arrive for them to realize. The Prakriti of the Antakarana, purity it gave, but it did not liberate. So what will happen to such a jiva where the blue stuff is still alive? This whole blue stuff is jiva. Mana, buddhi, chitta and ahankar. So at the end of the body, when the body died, that paranta kale, at the end of when the body dies, this was still left over, it did not realize. So this has to be liberated. Where does it go? Brahma Loke. This blue stuff, the Antakarana, Mana, Buddhi, memory, Chitta on the other side, and Ahankar. So this Antakarana now goes to Brahmaloka and acquires Brahmaji as the Brahma Vidya Guru in Brahmalok. But Brahmaji can give liberation. He is allowed to give liberation. But Brahmaji's liberation is not until his kalpa comes to an end. And Brahmaji has to preside over creation for such a long time. 2000 Chatur Yugas, 2000 human Chatur Yugas is one day of Brahmaji. 2000 human Chatur Yugas is one night of Brahmaji. 4000 Chatur Yugas become 24 hours of Brahmaji. Like that, Brahmaji lives for 100 years. That's one day of Brahmaji. In that way, so Brahmaji lives for that many years. So right now Brahmaji is only 51 years old. And he has to live for that long. So when Brahmaji is liberated, he will take all these jivas along with him. They will all be liberated. That is called Paranta Kale. Para Anta Kal. Our body we gave up in mere human few years. We are here 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, God knows how long. Bhagwan. But the longest human ayu is 120 according to astrology. This is how long Bhagavan Krishna lived. So it's called Purna Ayu. Even the astrologer will give you Vimshottari Dasha, meaning what is capable of happening in the next 120 years. After that, they don't give. So when that falls off, that is just mere 120. But Brahmaji, that is Te Brahma Lokeshu Paranta Kale paramrutav parimucyanti sarve. All who have assembled over there in the Brahma Vidya Mandir of Brahmaji, that is called sarve. All who have acquired the punya of acquiring a teacher, learning Brahma Vidya over here, this Shuddha Sattva, Antakarana Shuddhi is acquired, but somehow they were not able to enjoy Jivan Mukti. So, if the desire for the Jivan Mukti is very, 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 very strong and it is strengthened, they will go to the higher world and Mukti will be delivered over there. Some may be even sent back, decided by Brahmaji. If the Jivan, if that Paripakva Shuddha Antakarana is there, Bhagavan Krishna also says, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. That person in a divine home, a divine mother, a divine father, from childhood the child is exposed to great spiritual things and it will excel from childhood, and the child in teenage years itself will realize before even life begins. Such Mahatmas we also see. So we don't know what is in store for us, what is written over here. Lalata Likita Katha, what is written on our forehead, the story, nobody knows. Na kaschit janati. But we have to acquire grace, blessings. Without blessings, we cannot move. So, te brahmalokeshu parantakale paramrutaha. This, having attained this great immortality in the higher world, parimucyanti, they will be liberated over there. All will be liberated in Brahmaloka. Continuing. Gatakala panchadasha pratishthaha Devascha sarve pratidevatasu Karmani vijnanamayascha atma Pare vyaye sarva eki bhavanti. So over here we have very a cryptic mantra over here, and it is said Gata Kalaha Panchadasha Pratishtaha. Panchadasha Kalaha Gataha. Panchadasha 15. Kalaha, what should I say? Kala, like Chandra has kalas, parts. Every day the kala is different. Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, and every day the moon changes, about 13.5 degrees, and slowly moon changes kala. So no 2 days the kala of the Chandra is the same. In the same way, this Antakarana is made up of so many. We think that it is made up of the 5 elements, but this inner equipment, we don't realize what a complex equipment it is. And to liberate something which is so complex, it is not an ordinary thing. To create the physical body, 9 months, the child is incubated in the womb and slowly develops. Even the beauty of the sthul Panchadasha Kala is mind-boggling. The greatest of the greatest doctor in the world still cannot manufacture a kidney, a heart, a brain. That simple neuron, how it works, the cell, the mitochondria, and mind-boggling what is created in this universe. Just the biology of it, then the physics of it, that is yet another mind-boggling. And who is the author of this? The gross world is mind-boggling. Then what to talk of the inner equipment? And to liberate such an equipment is not ordinary. That's why, this Panchadashakshari mantra presides over the whole universe. This Panchadasha Kala comes from that. It has 15 syllables, and each syllable is responsible for a Kala. Each syllable is responsible for the manifestation of a particular function of the whole thing put together. And our rishis envisioned this whole thing, and they saw how the whole thing was put together, and they saw that, oh, now this, it's like, if you have a flathead screw and a Phillips screw, two different screwdrivers are required to fasten it. You take a Phillips screwdriver in a flathead, you will keep on spinning over there and nothing will happen to that screw. So as the equipment, so has to be the instrument that goes into taking care of it. Such a complex system is developed. Only a complex equipment, equipment tool can disassemble it. That is the grace of Prakriti. She's put it together, only she can take it apart. There is not a mechanic in the world who can take apart the Prakriti she has put together. And thus, this Panchadashakshari mantra is very important. It is each one of these kalas are loosened and removed. And these kalas are not explained over here. These kalas are explained in another Upanishad. Over here Gurudev mentions in Prashna Upanishad, the student asks that what are all these things which are gone into making this? And in there, the Pippalad Rishi asks Sukesha asks Pippalad Rishi in Prashna Upanishad, and over there the answer is given of all these kalas. Gurudev has mentioned over here in the footnote on page 147 that Prashna Upanishad chapter 6 mantra 4, you will be able to find these kalas at great length. Atma Karshini, Amrita Karshini, Sharira Karshini. In Khadgamala, the 16 petal lotus is the whole thing which is described so beautifully over here. So these 15 kalas talked about over here, Panchadasha Kalaha Gata. These kalas will go away. And see, the physical body, when it dies, It takes 9 months to create that body, but the fire can consume it in 10-15 minutes, the body is gone. But that subtle body, we don't even know. People laugh at the chakras and the kundalini. There is nothing in the body. What do we know? We try to look for this antakarana in the sharira. How the whole thing is wound together with the 3 nadis, the pingala, the shushumna, the ida and the pingala. They go around the shushumna, and in each one of these energy points of intersection, each kala is expressed in its own unique ways. And if there is a blockage, that kala cannot express itself. And that kala requires a sthul sharir to express itself. And certain kalas require no sharir to express, but it will express on the inside as visions. Some Mahatmas say, oh my God, you read mind. Arey, what mind? The whole universe is shown inside the movie theater of his mind. He can see everything. If we get a glimpse into the mind of a realized soul, we cannot even comprehend what they see. In thousands of years ago, they have written the secrets of the whole universe, which even science cannot figure out, because the darshan was given to them. So each one of the kalas, as beautifully it has arrived, he disperses them and says, now you please go. And sometimes the Mahatma can take his kala and bless and give it to his own disciple, and the kala has to go and serve that person. There are Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, by touch he gave the whole vision to Vivekananda, and with touch he even took it away. He says, now you will get it at the end of your life, you have to work. We don't know what all things are possible. Gurudev used to be so careful with his japamala, he wouldn't allow anybody to look at it or touch it. If somebody touched this japamala finished, they wouldn't know what to do. They would realize right there and then the power of the japamala. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, before he passed on, even in that great stage when the throat cancer is consuming, quietly in night time he left, he took his japamala and threw it in Gangaji. He said it should not remain. What would happen if somebody got that? Where do you think Gangaji gets her power? Many a people have casted their japamalas. Our Taponji Maharaj is one of them. Quietly. Her power today is great people who have gotten all these kalas and left them. And we laugh, what can a river do, No, I'm not going to take bath, it is dirty. But our eyes cannot even go where the minds of the rishis have touched. And they have unfastened this. Rishis could not only unfasten their antakarana, they could take somebody else's antakarana apart too. You read 108 names of Adi Shankaracharya ji on his Jayanti we chanted. One of them is Parakaya Praveshaya Namaha. He was able to take a little and put his antakarana in there and enter a king and enjoy the whole thing, come back out and say, you go, I'll take mine. And people like, oh, what kind of nonsense this is? We don't know. These kalas, very simple to say 15 of them have gone, but these 15 create the picture of the universe. Till today, no Steven Spielberg can create this picture the 16 kalas have created. There's a kala of the universe. That is called gata. All this will go away. Devascha sarve pratidevatasu. And who keeps these 15 kalas alive? 33 crore devatas. Oh ho 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 ho, we cannot even comprehend. 33 crore devatas keep each one of these kalas fueling and the whole universe. I know people, week after next week I'm traveling. Week after that is Navaratri, so we will continue with Upanishad. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.